Are you an engineer looking to map out your rewarding career path, become marketable, and get ahead of peers to land a new higher paying job? Or maybe you feel like you are underpaid, your career is stagnant, or you're unsure of where to take your career. If you're wanting guidance with achieving your professional success and landing your next higher paying job, you're in the right place. Prior clients have not only been able to transition into a new desirable job, but have also accepted pay raises of up to 20, 40, 80, or even 120%. Through the Career and Leadership Accelerator programs, our coaches work with engineers and technical professionals to advance them into their next jobs and promotions, change fields or companies, or accelerate them into leadership, establishing confidence in their career path options, becoming marketable and getting ahead of peers, developing career and leadership skills, and of course, making more money. I'm Luke, the founder and CEO of online leadership training, Career Coaching, which is specifically catered to engineers and technical professionals, and I also coach engineers myself. I started this career coaching business based on having an engineering and leadership career, and because I truly enjoy helping others find their career success. All of the other coaches in this program, along with experience in their field, share that passion for coaching and helping others. What makes us different from other career coaches? In the personalized, interactive, and collaborative coaching programs, our coaches utilize their personal experience in engineering, leadership, HR, recruiting, and working internationally to help engineers develop and achieve their career goals. All of our coaches have experience in engineering or technology and coach others with similar and specialized backgrounds. They have a unique knowledge of where you are in your career and how to help you excel.
So opening here, just a few quotes. Ultimately, for me, they're career inspirational and motivational in general. But by a few famous people that I imagine many of you would recognize. First, by Wayne Gretzky, a famous hockey player. For those that don't know him, and he was certainly when he was good at scoring. So he says, "You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take." So taking that step up and taking a shot. You know that you have a chance, but if you don't put the effort forth, you're of course not going to make it. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Sometimes that's the biggest challenge, is just getting started, getting things rolling, and ultimately that's a good first step to getting ahead in your career. And the harder you work, the luckier you get. So a lot of people believe in luck and assume that some people are luckier than others, but a lot of times you'll find people are luckier when they work hard, and that's by Gary Player. He's a famous golfer. So a couple things that I wanted to share with you this evening, one of which here to start is this career development and planning worksheet that I often go through with my coaching clients. And, ultimately the idea here is to think about, where you are now in your career, and then plan from a short-term, mid-term, and long-term perspective, and where you want to be. So thinking about then the position, so, here in the short term, within the next 1 to 2 years, what job do you want to be in next, right? I mean, what do you want to be doing next? Is that important to you as, the subject matter and how challenging it is? Or are you looking more on a long-term basis to set yourself up for your midterm and long-term career? The resources. So when you think about who can get you that job, maybe the person that's in that role now that has insights on what it takes to do the job. Maybe somebody who was there before and has moved on. Human resources can often help you with that. And, other managers and mentors can also provide insights on, how they feel you can get to that desired position. And, my suggestion based on that is really to have some open discussion with these folks. So request to have meetings with them and gain career advice. And skills. So what job positions give you the skill sets that you want to develop in order to get to the long-term position that you desire? And what other ways can you acquire the skills needed to get there? So whether that's through trainings or through mentorships or just taking other step out specific kind of jobs on a day-to-day basis that can help you to develop by requesting it from your manager or others in the organization. And then from a stakeholder perspective, who do you need to network with that's going to help you get to that next step? Very oftentimes that's managers in the organization, human resources, executives in your company. And, also you want to make sure that they're aware of your career interests, not just so you can learn from them what it takes. And then that way they can keep you in mind for that next position. They already know that it's something that you're interested in and that you're putting the effort in to develop, to be prepared for that. So, ultimately this is then on a short-term, mid-term, and long-term perspective. And this is the kind of thing ultimately that I often go through on an individual basis with those that are in my coaching program. So, something that you can use, of course, we'll share these slides with you, and the slide that was clean, you can use to think through on your own personal basis, or of course, I'm happy to help from a coaching perspective as well. So then for networking and career discussions, so the intent of this, really doing this one focused predominantly on finding your next steps, and very oftentimes within your company, learn about the career opportunities that are there and what interests you most, and then map a career path, and also network with the human resources and leaders that are involved in being able to support your career. And then learn about the skills and experience required to progress in the organization so that you can work on those skills, like I mentioned before, that the leaders and human resources folks know that you're working on them. And, really that you're at the forefront of their minds when an opportunity comes up, because this gives you a big edge in front of peers. For those that they don't know anything about, that are just interviewing for the first time, it's a big difference if they've known you for a year and they've provided insights on what's important. They know that you're working on it, and they already know that you're interested in that sort of a job. So, going through these steps, then, if possible, print out an org chart for your organization or your company. And, ultimately that's what we would then spend time going through, and you on an individual basis can do this as well. And that can include up through executive leaders, because again, you're looking at short-term, mid-term, and long-term career planning. So oftentimes this gives you the opportunity to think about specific individuals in your company or specific roles that you're interested in getting into. And that way you can then start to map out what's needed to get you there. So kind of like I mentioned, you're picking out those job types that you're interested in, and in particular the ones that you want to learn more about, whether it's your next step or long term. And then set up some meetings with these individuals. I mean, don't be shy. Get out there within your organizations, learn about people and what they do. And the meeting notice could include something like, if it's okay with you, I'd like to learn more about what you do in order to identify various career paths and options within the company. And feel free to reschedule for a time that conveniences you. Just a polite message with quick 30 minutes of someone's time where you can ask them questions and learn a little bit about what they do. So some questions to consider asking: what do you do on a daily basis? What are the major components of your job? What do you like about your job, and what do you dislike? As you notice, I mean, these are pretty standard questions here. Where did you acquire the skills to perform this role? So, where did they develop to be able to do what they do? What experience and skills have you gained since being in this role? Whether it's something that you value and that you feel will help you in building your career, and also something that you would enjoy. What experience and skills have you gained since being in this role? Do you feel like leadership supports you? A lot of people can become frustrated in positions when the leader of the organization isn't supporting them, and whether that's in their job or in their career. So just understanding how things are going in general tends to help. And then also for those that have been in the role and thinking about where they want to go next, what career opportunities do you see developing for that individual after this job? So, that gives you some perspective on potential career paths, thinking through that, having discussions with the career coach, looking at the short-term, mid-term, and long-term potentials. Then ultimately the next step is talking to your boss. And this is managing one of those sensitivities in your career, to really ask if it's okay if you do some networking. So here, you clarify that, hey, I'm not looking to leave my job right now, and I'm only networking to learn about future career opportunities, and just make sure that he or she is okay with it, because you don't want to be stepping on any toes or getting them worried that you're leaving or don't like where you're working, because oftentimes managers can be pretty sensitive about that. And then, ultimately setting up these networking meetings. So whether that's, again, a career discussion with your boss, other leaders and HR representatives, and stakeholders and influencers that you identified on that career development planning worksheet that we talked about here earlier in the webinar. And this is, of course, after you have some idea on what you want to do, right? So this is now gauged towards, okay, you did some career development planning on your own, maybe had some discussions with a career coach, other peers that are in positions in different types of work that you thought you might want to get into. And now really getting into discussions with the stakeholders, the leaders in HR that you developed on that career development planning worksheet. So the meeting notice, very simple again. If it's okay with you, I'd like to learn more about you and your career path. Feel free to reschedule for a time that conveniences you. I mean, that's very similar for what you'd be talking about with other leaders. So the intent of these meetings is to learn about the skills and experience required to progress into leadership or take the next step. So you can work on those skills that they suggest. And again, so that they know that you're working towards becoming that individual or leader or employee in their organization. And again, so that you're at the forefront of their minds. You're who they're thinking about whenever they realize they've got an opening and need somebody to step up. So some things that you should consider asking the leaders that you're talking with and networking with. Could you tell me about your career path? So first and foremost, you learn a little bit of insight about what's worked for them, what's worked in the past, and maybe some considerations on what you might take for your career path. And really also because people love talking about themselves, love telling you about their careers, about their histories, and what they've accomplished. So certainly don't shy away from asking things like that. And then also, what skills did you acquire to make you successful and get you where you are today, really to bolster what you've already been thinking through with your career development planning worksheet on, what skills you need to acquire to get to the various short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals that you have. And that includes, of course, asking them about trainings that may have gotten them there or other things that they may have done in their career. And then, when you think about you moving into some of these organizations, if they're a leader of an organization that you want to get into, asking, what attributes or skills do they value? What's most important to them for you to be able to move into that sort of a job? So the last thing that I suggest in these discussions that you do is really convey to them what you want to say. So you've asked all these questions up front, learned from them, and then you just want to tell them, hey, I'm interested in developing to become blank. Insert whatever your future job is here, and ask them what advice they have towards getting to that role, and whether that's trainings or other people to network with. Very oftentimes you can build a pretty extensive network in your company by doing this sort of thing, because you talk to one person and they recommend you talk to someone else, and kind of gives you an opening to have those discussions. So, just a brief moment, again, for those on the call, feel free to message in the chat. For those that either were here at the beginning or joined a little bit late, Earl is there. He'll be fielding some questions. So, for the ones that he can answer, and then otherwise we'll be pulling them together for any questions you may have at the end. And I'll also be unmuting everybody so that we can all, others can chime in verbally if you'd prefer that, as opposed to chatting them in the chat box. So the meeting notice for HR, following back up on the networking, should include something like, if it's okay with you, I wanted to set up some time for a quick career discussion. Feel free to reschedule for a time that conveniences you. So, again, when you look at the simplicity of reaching out to these folks and just being courtesy and asking exactly what you wanted to do, with having a career discussion is important. But the key is to reach out, develop a plan, and be educated on what you're asking, so you're not wasting, the leaders in HR's time, which of course you would have done through the career development planning worksheet, and also doing your research and talking with other employees or coworkers, or a coach. So, questions to consider asking and things to let them know. Again, here, interested in developing to become whatever it is you want to do in your next step, and then in particular for the long term, that they can help you plan for. Ask again about the advice that they have on getting there, roles and trainings that the HR folks have as suggestions, and other people to network with, because again, they'll have a different resource bank, whether that's for trainings or an understanding of what roles are out there, or the people that they know that can help you get to where you want to be. So from a presentation perspective, those were some insights. Of course, I know that it was quick and simple, but really just some things that I thought add value to people's careers and when they're looking at progressing. And I know that a lot of the discussion today up to this point has been about identifying and accelerating your career path within your company. Oftentimes many are interested in looking externally. So of course we do support people with doing that as well. And the work process isn't all that different. We use the same tools, same thought process. And from a career coaching perspective, in my experience working with all sorts of different engineers and across different industries, and across the U.S. and Canada. There are other coaches in the organization, of course, with other backgrounds. That's a good option to have discussions around what other opportunities are out there. So just an overview of what that normally looks like for your reference. So you start by mapping your personal career blueprint. So that's very similar to that career development planning worksheet that we were looking through at the beginning, going through org charts, other components of things that you might want to do short-term, mid-term, and long-term. And then, the other focus following that is making you marketable when you're looking externally. So really optimize your resume, optimize your online job profiles, and get you out there to make you stand out compared to peers, so that recruiters and companies can find you there via using keywords and the experience that's most important to them in what you do and what you're looking to do. Optimize your job search. So when you think about having a better resume, an optimized online profile, recruiter networking, job application strategy based on where you look and what sort of opportunities and keywords you're searching for, results in more opportunities. So, higher pay, better quality jobs. And, then following that, of course, just like any work process when it comes to finding your next job, there's interview prep. So, you want to prepare by utilizing guides, practice questions, and potentially a practice interview so that you're prepared and are able to properly exude yourself and convey those things that really make you marketable to them. And then ultimately land that higher paying and rewarding new job. So here, just a few things from the organization. I don't need to go through these. Dina and Earl pulled them out for us, and it's in a lot of our reference materials. But, some of the sort of things when you put this effort in and you look at these quotes that I talked about at the beginning of the presentation today, where, really putting that time in, taking your shot, putting the effort in, taking that first step, being the biggest challenge, can result in quite life-changing things for people. And whether that's getting out of a bad situation where you're not happy where you are working, needed a challenge, want to get into leadership, or, just make more money for you and your family, use it on the things that you enjoy. You look at the 58%, 62, 65, 80% raise, even another one that was able to accomplish 120% raise, so more than doubled his pay, and also took a relocation bonus. And whether these were U.S. citizens or those on visas, we do support both of those kind of folks. And here's another example. Of course, we have these kind of posts from folks that have been through the program and ultimately put the effort in, take that first step, and look at making a big change in their career and in their lives. Was able to double his pay and achieve a signing bonus in conjunction with that. So, this is a kind of a picture of the website, which is where a lot of our resource material resides. So whether that's, videos or guides or all sorts of materials that can help to develop your career in conjunction with the coaching piece. They all reside here, but there's also a number of testimonials and things that we've been mentioned in the press, or bios, or those sorts of things. So with that, I'll pass it on back to Dina, and Dina can talk a little bit about what we're doing here at the end of the year. Go ahead, Dina.
Yep, sure thing. So towards the end of the year, you can actually get 20% off when you sign up with our Career Accelerator program or the Career Leadership Accelerator program. So this is good until December 30th, right? Am I correct, Luke?
Yep, you've got it.
Okay, and you can also visit our website. The website is theleadershiptraining.com/career coaching, or you can also schedule a call by sending us a text message to 240-775-0545, or you can email us at careeracceleratorcoaching@gmail.com. By the way, do we have any questions from the chat box? I don't think we have any.
Nope, none came through to this point. But Earl, yeah, go ahead and give everybody the option to unmute. I think you have to actually ask them to unmute. But no, just to rehash here what Dina said, I mean, it's the end of the year, it's the holidays, and for those that were motivated to join this call and learn a little bit about how to advance your career, and also listen to what we have to say, and just joining a call like this gives you the feeling that you've taken that first step to start thinking about, what do I want to do next in my career, whether that's internally or externally at your company. So, we offer a 20% discount off of what we do on a normal basis, and, have the opportunity to either check out our website, which of course is linked here. I think earlier Dina will share this presentation with you. And you can also text the number there, or send an email at careeracceleratorcoaching@gmail.com in order to just ask questions, or ultimately set up a call to talk through what opportunities there are. So yeah, Earl, if you haven't already, go ahead and give everybody the opportunity to unmute and open forum. So for those on the call, feel free to ask me any questions, whether that's about me and my career, or about advancing your career in general, or even about this coaching program that we do.
Yes, Luke, we have a question from Hassan here. He is asking, what is the difference between the two programs? I think he's referring to the Career Accelerator program and the Career and Leadership Accelerator program. Thank you, Hassan.
Yeah, Hassan, sure thing. So first I'll pull this down so you guys can just see me instead of the presentation. Yeah, so the Career Accelerator program is focused predominantly on those who are looking to take their next career challenge that may not be in leadership, but maybe you want to either take on a new, more challenging opportunity if you become bored where you are now. Or oftentimes I see people who may not be happy where they are. They're not happy with their coworkers, with what they're doing, with their boss, and want to get out and do something new, more rewarding. Or people that feel like their career is stagnant and they just want to make more money. So that's really what the Career Accelerator program is on, is focusing those people to help make that sort of transition, help them become marketable, to be able to make that kind of a high level rewarding transition. And then the Career and Leadership Accelerator program is specific to people who are individual contributors who are looking to ultimately make that transition into leadership. So, I've done that myself, and I've been through several leadership roles at this time. And when you think about what people are looking for, the hiring managers that want to hire somebody into a leadership position, they usually want leadership experience. So how do you get that in the first place? So really what I help people to do is to build that rapport and that network and the background and experience and the skill set to be able to make that transition into leadership. So yeah, thank you for that question, Hassan. Appreciate it.
Well, other than that, look, also on behalf of the people here, would like to know what our success rate is.
Yeah, good question. I appreciate that, Dina. It always helps to have questions to break the ice too for those on the call. So, no, that is a question I think as Earl and Dina work with onboarding folks, a question that they typically get. And yeah, so the programs are set up, structured for a number of months. There are different programs for different individuals depending upon what they're looking to do. It's ultimately kind of catered to your background. And, ultimately what I found is that there's, let's say for the Career Accelerator program, it may take people anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months to typically accept their next job as we work through this program of making them marketable, doing the resume, online profiles, interview prep, networking with recruiters, and then of course interviewing for jobs and accepting a job. So usually that happens within 3 months, for example. But for those that it doesn't, one of the things that I guarantee, because what makes this enjoyable for me is helping people find their career success, is that I, support people past that point for those few that may not have accepted a job within, that 3-month program. We're engineers, we like structure. So, ultimately I picked 3 months as it's when typically people move into their next jobs. Thanks, Dina.
Welcome.
Thank you, Luke.
What else?
Yes. Oh, yes. On behalf of the audience, I would also like to ask, since most of the audience are engineers here and coming from different backgrounds and different levels. On behalf of the audience, does our program support all sorts of engineers, all sorts of levels, or do we only cater to a specific engineer with a specific background or level?
Yeah, so our niche in particular is in engineering, because those are the people that I've worked with, that I've led over the years, and of course is my educational background. But within that niche, we support all sorts of engineers, whether that's just with their bachelor's in some sort of engineering, mechanical, chemical, electrical, aeronautical. Pharmaceutical, all sorts of different engineers, because we're all technical professionals. And ultimately, when you look at the career development components, they're very similar across them. That they could range from, like I mentioned, that bachelor's all the way to PhDs we've had in the program before, and all ranges of ages and experience level. And realistically, for the audience that we have here across the US and Canada, though we also have coaches located in Europe as we look to extend in that direction as well. So yeah, all sorts of engineers across all sorts of industries and across the US and Canada is the short answer. For those on the phone, don't be shy. I think Earl gave you the opportunity to either chat him or to go ahead and ask a question verbally. But I'm here at your disposal for anything that you want to ask.
Yeah, so already sent a request to unmute, so they can, feel free to unmute themselves and ask you any questions.
Okay, well, I think, in closing, I appreciate everybody's time again, and in particular, those that took the time to really think about where you want to go in your career and join something like this, where you've got the opportunity to look at next steps and where you want to be and what you want to do next. So, yeah, absolutely appreciate the career motivation, and feel free to reach out to us. Again, Earl will be sending out the slides, so you have that information, and of course, you can either text us or email us or message us on LinkedIn, really any form of communication. We're happy to help. So yeah, again, thank you, and have a good rest of your evening. Earl and Dina, anything else you wanted to say in closing?
Oh, that will be all. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And till our next webinar.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
So Earl, you can probably stop the recording too.